Next up, we have our panel on the future of performance advertising in social apps. Jay Weintraub will be moderating the panel today, so please join me in welcoming everyone to the stage.
Thank you, Justin. And thanks, Cass, and thank you for putting on a great show and the opportunity to be here. This is quite a treat for me, and we've got an incredible group of people. So without further ado, we're going to launch it off, and I'd like to make sure the panelists can go ahead and introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their business.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marino, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of RockU.
Hi, my name is Adam Kaplan. I'm the Vice President of Virtual Currency at AdKnowledge.
I'm George Garrick. I'm CEO of Rampell.
Hi, I'm Jim Bobowski, Director of Online Partner Marketing at Netflix.
I'm Alex Rampell. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TrialPay. We've been around since 2006, and we were the first alternative payment company, both on and off of Facebook. Or we started off of Facebook, but have largely moved on, and primarily provide an alternative method for people to purchase currency. I would say that after this whole Scamville thing, nobody was trying to act unethically. I really believe that before. The things that yielded the highest eCPM happened to be the quote-unquote offers that might not be the most popular with users and that were actually quite misleading. And it crowded out the legitimate advertisers like Gap or like Sephora or like Lancome or Staples. I mean, nobody would call ordering from Staples to get virtual currency a scam. And that really should be a large percentage of what alternative payments in games is. It's, okay, you need to order office supplies. You don't care if you order from Office Depot or Staples. If you order from Staples in the next 20 minutes, you're going to get 1,000 coins for free. That's a great experience for all parties involved. And that was crowded out by less legitimate offers. And the same thing happens on Google. The same thing happens pretty much everywhere. And I could say probably with pretty good certainty right now that Facebook is the cleanest advertising environment on the internet. I mean, far, far above Google, far above any other ad networks that are out there, because Facebook, I mean, to their credit, has cleaned up the space, and I don't think anybody wanted to run scammy offers like Video Professor, but they happened to yield a lot of revenue, and the developers said, well, it's not really our problem, we want to get the highest eCPM. So there haven't really been casualties here. I think everybody's benefited from this whole thing that was a quote-unquote scandal, but everything has gotten better. Now you do have room for things like Staples. You do have room for things like video views that can monetize very, very well. So I think this is great, and I think from a user perspective and just from a longevity of the space, which is one of the things that I was very concerned about back in Q4, I think a lot of things have improved there, but we still have a while to go.
You talk about upper funnel as a key, Lisa, and then you know, and you're talking about brand advertisers. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be the next level of monetization as brands, and is it going to replace direct response? Is there still a room for direct response?
Yeah, so I would actually say that it's not so much brand versus direct response, but it's really where in the funnel you appear.
Right.
The analogy that I've given before is, imagine you've never been to Starbucks in your entire life. You go there for the very first time, you order a latte, and they say, okay, you can either pay or you can get it for free. And you'd have to be crazy to say, I'm going to pay. It's the first time in Starbucks, okay, I want it for free. And the guy says, all right, you know, how do you want it for free? You could do this, you could do that. Here are 100 different things that you can do to get it for free. And maybe 9 times out of 10 people say, that's really confusing, I'm just going to pay $2 for my coffee. You come back to Starbucks tomorrow, and then the guy says, do you want it for free or do you want to pay? The person might say, I'm just going to pay. This whole get it free thing was too confusing. If you put that up at the top of the funnel and repeat that Starbucks analogy, and now the barista says, okay, do you want to pay? Or actually, I'll give it to you for free if you order flowers for Mother's Day. That actually might be a lot more appealing. So putting things higher up in the funnel is, if it's well targeted, can perform very well, either if it's brand or direct response. The problem with the offer wall, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's quite scalable. Every implementation is pretty much the same, but there is offer wall fatigue. Whereas if you show things that are very timely for people, so if you tell people, hey, it's summertime, go buy sunscreen, and you're going to get 100 credits for free, that can work very well. And that's a lot of what I think. I mean, given that a lot of people in this room are app developers, that's something that really hasn't been tapped as effectively as kind of payment, alternative payment. I would think a lot about how do you put this alternative payment directly within the game higher up the funnel.
I mean, does there need to be some sort of, sort of body that tries to help set best practices or standards? I mean, how does it not be a whole bunch of people in different caves trying to figure out what's best, but maybe creating a unified both, what's best for monetization and best for users? Is that opportunity exist for everyone to kind of collaborate, or
Yeah, I mean, I think I know that George took a step forward in establishing a panel what was the name of that? The IAB.
The social lead generation task force.
So I think there's that. There's what Facebook is doing directly. I mean, to answer your question, I look at Facebook credits kind of like the euro, and that I remember traveling in Europe before the euro, and I remember traveling in Europe after the euro, and it was a lot more convenient going from country to country when you had a euro, as opposed to lira versus Deutschmarks versus francs. So the difference is that you have a central body that's imposing a 30% tax. So the question is, how much do people really want to adopt this? But if you look at the euro as well, if you're a traveler on a budget, you might be much more willing to make the trip from France to Belgium because you know that there's one standard currency, and I think that actually will hold true across Facebook credits. So I'm actually very bullish on that initiative overall, regardless of how you get the Facebook credits. But the whole idea is that it should increase liquidity. It should reduce friction in terms of actually having people pay for these things, because once you have a stored credit card on file for Facebook, just like at the Dave McClure panel, Facebook could be a very, very large source of payment processing in the industry, and by doing that, they can also clean things up. They can ensure that in payments that people's credit card information is not being stolen. I would feel a lot more comfortable paying Facebook than I would to a no-name game developer that's only been around for a couple days that's processing payments directly and not with PayPal. So I think a lot of different initiatives are underway that should increase consumer trust, and a byproduct of that is actually a lot more revenue for this entire industry. So it's really just pairing things appropriately and providing for a good customer experience, because I don't think maybe a lot of people hate AT&T that use their iPhones here in this audience. I'm sure a lot do. Go Verizon. But it's a good customer experience, and people are used to that. I mean, the cell phone carrier model, where you get the cell phone for free. I mean, most cell phones you can get for free if you set up for a 2-year contract. That's effectively kind of a quote-unquote offer wall. It's using transactional dollars. It's using advertising dollars to subsidize a transaction, which is what everybody here does.